In movies portraying the Roman era, there's a familiar scene: men in white togas reclining comfortably, enjoying a lavish feast.
But have you ever wondered, why did Romans eat in such an apparently uncomfortable position? Wouldn't they get indigestion eating like that?
Actually, this culture of eating while reclining is incredibly ancient. Like many customs, it originated in the East.
The true trendsetters were the ancient Assyrians of Mesopotamia. Evidence shows this custom began with them.
In the British Museum, a 7th century BC relief depicts King Ashurbanipal during Assyria's Golden Age.
This garden party at Nineveh carving shows the queen sitting while the king reclines on a couch, leaning on his left arm, drinking wine.
Nineveh was the capital of Assyria. And who picked up this unique banquet style? The Greeks, trading across the region.
If you examine ancient Greek pottery or frescoes, scenes of men drinking and talking are incredibly common. This was called a symposium.
Today, symposium implies academic discussion, but originally in Greek, it simply meant drinking together. Notice something crucial. Just like King Ashurbanipal, all Greek men at the symposium are reclining on their left side. We'll get to why later. In Greece, there was a specific dining room for men called the andron. It usually held about 7 to 15 single beds. Men would prop their heads up with their left arms, lie back, and spend the whole night eating, drinking, and chatting. The truly wealthy even built separate androns. In Greece, there was a specific dining room for men called the andron. It usually held about 7 to 15 single beds. Men would prop their heads up with their left arms, lie back, and spend the whole night eating, drinking, and chatting. The truly wealthy even had separate androns built in their homes. This culture then passed to Etruria.
Before Rome became a superpower, the Etruscans were the dominant force in Italy. They gave us pizza, arches, and even the 6-meter-long toga.
A 6th century sarcophagus shows an Etruscan noble couple reclining together to eat, a significant difference from earlier cultures.
Unlike Greece and Assyria, Etruscan women were allowed to recline and dine as equals with men.
And from there, the custom went straight to the Romans. But Rome wasn't always so grand.
Originally, Rome was just a small tribe of shepherds led by Romulus. They subsisted on pulse, a bland porridge made of cheese and vegetables.
But as Rome expanded, defeating the Etruscans and then crushing Hannibal's Carthage, they seized rich grain fields.
All roads lead to Rome. As their territory grew, luxury ingredients flooded into the city. From wheat and wine to oysters, snails, wild boar, and exotic spices. This is when the reclining banquets truly blossomed among the Roman elite, a symbol of their new opulence. For the Romans, copying Greek culture was a sign of sophistication. While Greece had the andron, Rome had the triclinium. It literally means a room with 3 couches. These couches had no backs but were piled with soft cushions. Each couch was large enough for 3 people. They arranged these 3 couches in a U shape, allowing 9 people to feast together. This allowed 9 people to feast together around a central table piled high with delicious Roman food. The rich and powerful reclined on their left side and ate with their right hand. The U shape was left open on one side so slaves could constantly bring in food and cater to their needs. In fact, eating lying down is impossible without servants. It was a clear display of their wealth and status. Slaves cut all the food into bite-sized pieces so the nobles could easily pick it up with their fingers. A full-course Roman meal typically started with eggs, moved to meat, and ended with apples. This gave rise to the Latin phrase ab ovo usque ad mala, from eggs to apples, signifying a complete journey. The elaborate cooking was done by expensive chefs, often brought from the East, called kokus, the origin of our word cook. Since they ate lying down with their hands, things got messy. Napkins were invented early on. A full-course Roman meal started with eggs, transitioned to sumptuous meats, and concluded with refreshing apples. This culinary journey gave birth to the Latin phrase ab ovo usque ad mala, meaning from eggs to apples. Such culinary artistry was often performed by expensive chefs, known as kokus, often brought from the east. It is from these caucus that our modern English word cook originates, showcasing their lasting influence on cuisine.
Given they ate reclining with their hands, meals inevitably became quite messy. This led to the early invention of napkins.
Beyond cleanliness, these napkins served another purpose. Guests often used them to discreetly pack delicious leftovers to take home.
The reclining posture made eating liquids difficult, which is why hearty soups and stews only flourished in Italy much later. Roman feasts were grand spectacles, often commencing at 9 p.m. and stretching for an incredible 6 to 9 hours.
Such lengthy affairs meant guests would even take naps on their soft couches between courses before rejoining the festivities.
It's famously true. If guests became too full, they would sometimes induce vomiting to clear their stomachs and continue eating. And for nature's call, guests didn't even leave the room. Slaves would discreetly bring chamber pots right to their couches. Even food scraps were thrown onto the floor, a custom rooted in the belief that fallen food belonged to the dead. Food scraps were simply thrown onto the floor. They believed fallen food belonged to the dead, and cleaning it up might attract ghosts. To appease spirits, they even made floor mosaics depicting food scraps. Later, the 3 couches were replaced by a semicircular couch called a stibadium. This reclining culture vanished in the West when Rome fell in the 5th century, though it survived in the Byzantine Empire until the 11th century. But back to our main question. Why did Romans eat in such a seemingly uncomfortable way? First, it was a profound symbol of status and power. Reclining was a privilege reserved for the ruling class, typically for men. Seating was also strictly hierarchical. The middle couch was for high-status guests, the left for the host, and the right for lower-status guests, clearly communicating social standing. But beyond status, there was also a surprising scientific reason. While lying down generally isn't great for digestion, lying specifically on your left side is different. Modern medicine suggests that the stomach shape allows it to hold more food more comfortably in this position. It also helps prevent acid reflux. Food passes through the stomach more slowly and comfortably, aiding overall digestion. The Romans, surprisingly, seem to have instinctively known these benefits of left-side reclining, or at least observed them. Of course, if even that didn't work for them, they always had the notorious feather-in-the-throat trick.
Eating is an act of civilization and a celebration of life.
So, back to the main question. Why eat in such a seemingly uncomfortable way? First, it was a symbol of status and power. Reclining was a privilege reserved for the ruling class and typically for men. Seating was strictly hierarchical during these elaborate feasts. The middle couch was for high-status guests, the left for the host, and the right for lower-status guests. But there's another compelling reason. Beyond status, there is also a surprising scientific reason. While lying down isn't generally great for digestion, lying specifically on your left side is different. Modern medicine suggests that the stomach's shape allows it to hold more food in this position. It also prevents acid reflux. This posture allows food to pass through the stomach more slowly and comfortably. The Romans, surprisingly, seem to have known this for optimal digestion. Of course, if even this sophisticated posture didn't work for digestion, they had other less appealing methods, like the feather-in-the-throat trick. Eating is an act of civilization and a celebration of life. For the Romans, it was much more.